in the upper right, folks, in the blue, seizing control of his destiny and first place in Group A, Oliveira.
And his opponent, spawning down in the bottom left for Onside Gaming. It is the red Protoss player, Neeb. Now, anyone who's a fan of StarCraft 2 and has been for a long time should know the name Neeb. You should look at it and be like, wow, this is one of the greatest foreigners of all time, one of the greatest non-Korean players of all time. He had that dominant streak during 2016, 2017, where he just didn't lose to anyone. He won a Kespa Cup on Korean soil, but that was when he was playing full-time. He did come back, like I said, for a little while, and has been, well, did play full-time for about 3 or 4 months. And during that period, I legitimately think he was one of the best players in the world. Unfortunately, it didn't translate to tournament results because the only tournament he played was DreamHack Valencia. And that was even after he had kind of taken his foot off the pedal a little bit. And then additionally, he, pardon me, he wasn't, he got stuffed. He got stopped just before what could have actually been a championship run.
Yeah, that really should have been a game that he should have won. That game 5 against Creator, he was massively ahead, and then went for a bunch of Colossus and kind of blundered it. So yeah, he's not there. He's full time now, but he did take a map off of Clem earlier on, and Clem has some incredible TVP. In years past, he's been the only one that could hang with Zest, for example, in something like Katowice. I think a lot of us at least remember that game on, what was it, Romanticide, just mass zealot versus everything for however long that game was. Like, Clem's TVP is very good. So the fact that Neeb took a map off him, I didn't see how the game went, is an encouraging sign, even as Neeb has maybe not had his best Katowice to date. But the question is this going to be enough? Because for right now, this proxy starport seems like it's not going to get scouted.
No, it will not. That's pretty big. Hang on, how did that Adept just take a Reaper shot?
Took a Reaper shot?
It did. How did that just even happen? It took half a Reaper shot. Did it just take damage while it was in transit during the shade? Okay, we're gonna have to watch the replay because that is a weird little edge case, I think. Reaper, by the way, does not get into the main base, won't see a pylon missing. This is actually really nice for Neeb so far. He's forced the command center to be placed out of position. That means this mule is actually gonna lose a fair bit of efficiency. Oh, it's actually gonna lose a lot of efficiency here. Oliveira puts it on patrol, but he loses maybe at least 1, maybe 2 mining trips. That's like 25 or 50 minerals. So already kind of a nice advantage for Neeb right there. Yeah, I remember the game you're talking about. It was on, not Ice and Chrome. It was on something golden.
Yeah, Golden Wall. No, not Golden Wall.
No, Pillars. Pillars of Gold.
There we go.
Pillars of Gold. Yes, by the way, Adept Shade's in. Doesn't quite get the mule, but will open things up a little bit. Oracle is going to be able to find a couple of workers. Oh, nice read right there. He saw that his opponent was going to go after the mule. He does lose the 1 mule, but he keeps this other one alive. So a nice little read from Time. Pardon me, from Oliveira. Oh, the Oracle.
Actually, wait a minute here. Oracle's, it's only 1 pulsar beam.
Oh, he wins the fight.
Oh, scans? But he's not going to
does he get the lock on? No. Oh, it was on cooldown for just a little bit too long there. That could have been such a pimp play from Oliveira. Still a very nice situation for him. It does take a little bit of the sting that he has to drop a scan, but it's still a nice little move.
Yeah, and the big deal with that scan as well is it showed him exactly where the proxy starport was, or the proxy Stargate was. I don't know that he would have known that it was there otherwise.
Oh, that's kind of funny actually. That's a hilarious hilarious side effect. Like, it's like when you take a prescription drug and you actually take it for the side effect. Oh, okay, well, I'll take it. All right, sounds good. By the way, this is 3-gate as a follow-up. Oh man, hang on, can Neeb even deal with this? This wall is gonna make this Liberator so good. Actually, can he even survive? He's gonna pop battery overcharge instantly, but he's already losing so many of these Stalkers. The DPS is just so high in these units. Fortunately, he does get out of the Liberation Zone, but the Liberator is providing so much power. And now that the battery overcharge is about to expire, Neeb he's gonna lose these 2 gateways. I do like the warp in from the back, but oh, he can't move through. This Liberator is almost a checkmate Liberator.
It really is, and we're seeing the Cyclones on the right side knocked down. Oh, come on, you gotta kill that Stalker. Cyclone falls. Not the best trade, but still, it's getting down that pylon. That seems to be what Oliveira wants to do, and that's not gonna happen. So Warpin's on the right side. We'll warp in 3 more Stalkers. That probably should be the end of this push, but as we say that, yes, that Cyclone has fallen, but here comes the reinforcements from Oliveira. He's got to run right now, though. Got to get back to his main army. In fact, he's gonna give up everything. The Marines will fall, but he's got to keep that tank alive, and it seems like he's going to be able to do so. Meanwhile, Liberator into the main base. Stalkers are at the front. It's gonna get some damage.
Yes, it certainly is. We saw 5 probes going down during all of this. No siege instantly here from Oliveira. And Neeb, actually, he is going to be able to take down this Liberator. And I said this was almost checkmate. It was almost checkmate, but Neeb didn't panic. He didn't rush the fight. He was able to get enough damage on the right side here to clean up the mobile units for the Terran. And he stayed calm throughout. And now he actually finds himself in a pretty darn good position in this game, all off the back of delaying his tech and just going heavy on the units. Now he's got charge on the way. Hang on. Is he just going to try and kill his opponent with 8-gate charge? He's building a War Prism. I mean, this actually has some potential if Oliveira moves out to take a 3rd base, but never mind. He went 5 racks before. Yeah, no, Oliveira should be fine if this does end up being very aggressive.
Yeah, Steadfast, the weird thing about this, though, for Neeb is the fact that this is 4 gas, right? 4 gas charge is not really a thing. That tells you want to advance into something. In this case, it is going to be a Robo Bay. We're going to see Colossus or Disruptors go down. Often you see it go into Charge Storm as well. So yeah, Neeb is getting gateways, but that's kind of what you want to do when you're on 55, 60 workers, when you do have that 3rd base mineral mining set up. And now he's going to have warp in potential, run by potential, but he's not going to shove himself into the meat grinder that is potentially Oliveira here. It's about the counterattack. It's about the pressure on the map, but not the all-in.
Yes, and that is... well, that is a high-value potential play. I do like these Zealots on the left side. The only thing I was going to say is that Neeb doesn't have any Forge or Forges. In a situation like this, especially with the buff to upgrade timings, I think Neeb should be going double Forge behind this. But for now, we're focused on this big push. Ooh. We've got the Zealot drop in the main base. Very nice SimCity. This is an exquisite SimCity out of the Terran player. But Neeb really muscling his way through. Oh, he dodges the Widow Mine so clean. Neeb, he's starting to show some of his old form a little bit here. But this push is so scary right now.
This push is terrifying, but there's only 1 Widowmine in this army, at least that I can see. So yeah, it's a lot of tanks. Sure, in fact, SCVs are going to get pulled to the front. Time really committing to this thing right now. I'm not convinced this is going to happen. There are so many charge slots. There's some Immortals here. Shield Battery River charge is popped. As now Oliveira stims in. Immortal on the right side is going to fall down, but Oliveira is getting eaten from the inside out. His main base has very few SCVs. So now the Zealots are going to run in, and all Neeb needs is time. There's a Colossus that's going to run forward. Tank's actually targeting it down very quickly, and Oliveira, he goes forward. Neeb just needed some time, and he does not have it. Oliveira does. It's going to be a 1-0 lead now for the Chinese.
Absolutely phenomenal push right there. The siege tanks, they got some clutch shots right there. They killed... so, okay, there was 2 points where the siege tanks really were the MVPs of that fight. One, the first shot on the Immortals on the left side meant that it was drawing the battery overcharge. So that was allowed Oliveira to run in and snipe the second Immortal. And then at the very end, they hit the Colossus and they splashed down the Immortal at the same time, killing 2 incredibly high-value power units. And Oliveira gets the job done right there. And he keeps his stranglehold on the group for now.
Yeah, man, if he's 2-0, 4-0, yes, Neeb did look good at points. We'll see what happens. He looks much better than he did against Kier yesterday. But if Oliveira 2-0, 4-0 is this group, or 2-0, 4-0 is this day, that is a strong position to actually, we're talking about this, to actually top the group, to go directly into the round of 8. Who does he plays Ragnarok tomorrow, right?
Ragnarok, yep.
That is a winnable matchup.
Very. But something else that could happen that would be very weird is if Ragnarok wins versus Cure in his matchup, and then he's able to beat Oliveira, Ragnarok actually would win the group because he would stay ahead of Dark, and then he would eclipse Oliveira. This is not how we expected this group to shape up. This is a really wild group right now.
Oh, and Steadfast, we were talking yesterday, I think, yesterday, about how Group A, more than anything else, is just wide open.
Yeah,
we have,
I said... Oh, sorry, go on.
We have everyone has a shot to top it. Everyone has a shot to get in the bottom. Maybe Neeb's more towards the bottom side and Ragnarok. But everyone has a shot to do both. And some people we saw people saying, no, what are you talking about? Dark's clearly
Dark's gonna
at the
win.
top.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
Well,
looking at you.
It's looking extremely close right now. 4 maps, and before this, 3 maps separated first from fourth. That is as close as it gets. And to be fair, Neeb is not in this group right now. He might actually even be mathematically eliminated now. I think he is. I don't really want to do the math on it on stream, but which is funny because I'm normally super okay with doing math on stream, but in this case, I'm just like, maybe not. Because we got a match to focus on. But that was the thing, is we didn't know what Neeb's form was going to look like going into this tournament. And he's had some flashes of brilliance. That dodge on the Widow Mines actually put Oliveira into a pretty all-in position, killed so many SCVs, really opened the door for him to maybe take that game. But yeah, first to fourth is neck and neck.
And I mean, we even talk about Neeb being mathematically eliminated. Part of this is he gets himself in really good positions and then it doesn't work. He has been in almost every game we've cast. He has been in a good opportunity, a good position to actually make it out, to win these games. And unfortunately, and I'm told actually that's what happened in the Clem series too. In the 2 games he lost, he almost won those. So first through fourth, Razor's Edge. Who knows what's going to happen? Not even going down to last player place in the group. It's still who knows. So it's going to be it's going to be a fun 2 more series that we get to look at here as the group does continue. But for now, folks, we're just going to get in to our second game of this series. Let's see if Neeb can take us to game 3. And the upper left, folks, in the red. He's down a game for Onside Gaming. It's Neeb.
And his opponent playing so damn well, and it makes me so happy because I know how hard he's been working. It's Katowice Gaming's Oliveira. And you and I have seen him in the ESL Open Cups taking down Dark after Dark historically had really had his number. Oliveira's won a couple of pretty nice matches against him. And even in the series that they played, if you haven't seen it, the long drawn out slugfest between Oliveira and Dark, which went to the super late game, Oliveira won that. He won that against one of the kings of late game spellcasters for Zerg in the form of Dark. He ultimately did lose the series 2-1, but one of them was to a Nidus Roach Ravager that he kind of didn't prepare for very well. And it's clear that, he was probably a little bit exhausted after that game number 2, but it was a very competitive series out of Oliveira, and he is looking so sharp. Something else. Oh, Neeb. Wow, he is going real cheesy, by the way. He actually killed Clem in the game that he won with a 2-base Immortal charge lot all in, and really bamboozled Clem with that. But like you said, Neeb has been looking good in a lot of the matches he's lost. And don't be surprised if Clem... Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, this is like a trigger build. But don't be surprised if we see Dark having a tough time with Neeb tomorrow. Don't be surprised by that in the slightest.
And that's always been Neeb's... last year, he hadn't been practicing all that much. He was actually talking in Katowice about how the passion wasn't there. And then he went to Katowice and the passion was rekindled. And despite him really not practicing all that much, who knows, he was the only player that really contested Rogue in the group stage. He actually should have won that series. But we're going to have to see what happens here, because Proxy Robo Gateway, this is not, I'm not going to say it's not a build, but this is not something that we see in TVP all that often. Marines are going to try to find the Adept the high ground. Adept gets first shot, though, and that does mean at least one of these Marines will be traded out despite the good micro. Big deal, though. Neeb runs forward. This looks normal for him, or as normal as it's going to get. Oliveira is not going to be able to tell what's happening. In fact, his Marines are never going to go to the left side because that Adept's coming in from the front.
No, exactly. And he is Now, the only thing that could actually tip this off is, funnily enough, if Oliveira sees the shimmer of the observer, if he sees it this quick and he sees which direction it came from, he might actually be able to figure out what's going on, because this observer's on his side of the map ludicrously fast. And this actually, I actually really dislike this from Neeb in that sense. I wish he'd kind of kept it at the front for now. I don't hate that he gets the scout, but it does provide an opportunity for Oliveira with some really sharp eyes and maybe thinking like, hey, like what's going on, to figure it out. I don't think that's going to happen, but it is going to be 4-gate immortal. 4-gate double immortal play. Marine, ooh, it's going to get picked off before it gets really any relevance. Oh, actually, hang on. Oh, that's a pretty big deal that he gets the kill there. It's going to be a depths, by the way. Well, no bunker at the natural. This looks so dangerous.
I mean, this is one of the better build options that Oliveira could have gone for, right? With the 2-on-1, with a quick stim, with a cyclone on the map. You need a tank on the low ground. That's a problem. As here come the adepts on top of things. Cyclone's going to go down immediately. SCVs have to get pulled, but the tank stays alive. The adepts throw shade on top of it. And yes, SCVs are falling, but Steadfast, look at the position we're in. As long as you don't die as Oliveira, you're probably going to be in a good spot. So here we go. Bunker goes up. Neeb sees it, but the tank stays alive. There's a second one on the way. And this is not looking, we're going to have to see what the next round happens, but this is already not looking all that bad for Oliveira.
No, it's not looking bad at all. Now, what Oliveira needs to be scared of, and what he needed to be scared of before, is if the adept shade forward on his Marines. That could be very big problem. We're going to see target fire finally coming in on the tank. We'll get that. And these Marines, they do finish up their stim. The bunker completes, though, and that is going to drive this back probably for good. Behind this, though, Neeb has already killed 7 workers. He's actually probing up behind this. He can totally play macro out of this. He does need to stay really on top of what his opponent's doing, but that's where this observer comes in. Neeb, this is kind of trademark Neeb, is he'll do weird stuff. He'll do stuff that looks like an all-in, and he'll execute so cleanly and not overcommit and find ways to macro out of it. It's really cool to see. And now, oh, Immortal Drop tries to come on in. I think he wanted to snipe the tank there. But as long as you don't lose the Immortals, as long as you don't take any hull damage on the War Prism, it's actually fine. Yeah, this is kind of vintage Neeb. This is very cool.
Oh, it is. I really like the decision to get a Viking, though. The big challenge right now that Oliveira is running into is this War Prism. Right? Immortals drop, you lose a tank, and suddenly everything's wide open. So you get the Viking. It makes it really hard, although Viking is not where the Warp Prism is, and we're going to see this tank. It's just going to go down. There's not really a lot you can do to save it. But now the Viking's going to chase things down, and that should be the
he's got a recall.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought, he was afraid of the Stalkers. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, he doesn't know that they went home. Easy to forget that. You know, as an observer, we're like, oh, why didn't he do this thing that he doesn't have vision of? And it's like, oh yeah, because he's not cheating. Because he's playing the game honestly. He doesn't have the information we have. This is a neat little drop, but Neeb was very prepared for it. Nice little force field, nets him at least one more Marine than he would have gotten otherwise. Maybe even got both Marine kills. Nice little heads up play there from Neeb. But of course, good reaction time from Oliveira to get out of there. Neeb is on the hunt. Oh, okay, never mind. Medevacs. Boost his back off cooldown. Neeb, though, does cool stuff like this, like hunting down his opponent's units and opponent's drops. Oh.
Yeah, he's going to find it, too. At least get enough damage that it doesn't matter. Oh, boosts off cooldown. Oh, unfortunate if you're a Neeb fan. And okay, look at that from Oliveira. He knows Neeb's going to keep chasing him, so he runs back into the main base. And yeah, it's only 4 Marines. But it's 4 Marines.
It's a nuisance.
Yeah, Neeb's not expecting it.
Yeah. Well, he is expecting it. He saw that he didn't intercept it, but now he has to spend a warp in at home. 7 charge lots, and that shows the charge is done. And Oliveira, yeah, oh my God, I love his brain. It's so sexy. He realizes what Neeb is doing, and he says, you've been on 2 bases for a while. You killed Clem with a charge lot timing. I need to batten down the hatches a little bit more, and he builds a second bunker. God, that is such a smart play. And he cancels it now because he scanned to 3rd base and he knows that his opponent is probing up, but I still love the decision.
Yeah, the one thing that surprises me here is as Oliveira has been able to get active on the map a little bit, that robo, that gateway on his, I don't know, linear 3rd base location, it's been allowed to sit there. It's been allowed, it's a warp in position if Neeb ever wants to get active on the map. It's a bit of threat that can exist. I guess maybe part of it is Oliveira doesn't know exactly where that situation is, but regardless, I'm surprised he's allowed at least the pylon to stay alive. Steadfast, look at this. Neeb, in response to Oliveira responding to him, he is expanding out of this. We got Blink on the way. You talked about the third base, but more importantly, he's getting into a level of splash. Storm is halfway done, and Storm is not a slow upgrade. By the time Oliveira decides to move on the map, or by the time Neeb decides to get something done, that Storm will be complete.
Yes, and it's going to be fast. There we go. There's the second forge that I was looking for from Neeb in the previous game. When you stay on no upgrades for a while, double forge is so good for Protoss, and especially it may not seem like much. You're like, oh man, they only buffed upgrades by like 9 seconds. Yeah, they buffed the first set of upgrades by 9 seconds, the second set of upgrades by like 12, and then the third set by like 16 or something. Like it comes out to a lot of difference, especially when you factor Chrono Boost into the occasion. By the way, very cool little move from Oliveira. I think he just faked a drop and stimmed to kill the Observer, and actually is just going to chill here. He is setting up very defensively. Now, normally I would be a huge fan of this, and I still am, especially against a Storm-based army and a lot of charge lots. But this is a map where it's difficult to lock down a third base with positional units like Liberators and Siege Tanks. Still, I do like the way he's doing it. I just want to point out it's difficult on the map.
And man, he is so worried about DT plays. Finally, we're going to see this gateway go down. The Robo depowered at the very least. Oh, great pre-split there. The Storm doesn't get anything.
That was so good. Oliveira, okay, I said he wasn't cheating, but he might have just seen the future with that. He just read that like a damn book. That was so impressive.
Oh, that
Storm will come in. Oh, that's a big Storm though. Doesn't lose any units, but that will drain a lot of HP. And now Neeb comes in, gets a cleanup on just 1 or 2 of them. Siege Tanks are going to cover this. Scan comes down. Will he try and snipe down that Observer? No. He just wants to see where the army is. This is a very high tension moment. Oh, EMP, very nice. God, Oliveira is so good. Behind this, triple Robo coming on in. I don't know if it's going to be Colossus. I don't know if it's going to be Disruptors. I think you might want Disruptors on this map. Oh, this could be a very scary army. Oh man, he runs up the ramp. We'll find a couple of medevacs on the kind of coincidental rally, but this position is so difficult to fight through for the Protoss player, and he's going to have to loop around. Oliveira finding himself a really nice spot here, but he needs to siege these tanks. Storm pretty good on the left side.
Oh, medevac goes down as well. I mean, the pre-splits for time for Oliveira are really good. But there's like 1 medevac in this army, Steadfast. It's crazy. We're seeing Terrans more than I've ever seen them in this tournament run into these situations where they just don't have medevacs. I'm not totally sure why it is. It's not like there are Vikings getting made at this point. Regardless, though, Oliveira does not have the ability to really recover from stims and from storm damage. So while this is a great position for him, he's finally bringing his way back into this game. He's approaching max out. He cannot really shove into this position. And War Prism on the right side. Zealots are going to find this. That is a marooned tank if Neeb sees it. And now he's going to charge on top. Is Oliveira, he's going to lose the tank, but can he at least take the fight on the high ground? No, he's actually on move command. He's got to get back here. He's got to stim or do something. And the Zealots are getting on top. Massive Storm there on the bio. He splits in time, but not enough. And now the Zealots, they run in. The Storms are killing everything. And it's down to the Liberators here, which seems like they're actually going to hold on. But that is a massive trade for Neeb.
That was a very good trade for Neeb. He killed a lot of ghosts. Well, actually, no, it says he only killed 2 ghosts. Is that right? It says he only killed 1 on the units lost, but it's 2 on the battle report. Regardless, that was not a move command. He was scared of that hunt down. He knew that the rest of the Protoss army was sharking forward. A nice snipe down on the Liberator. Does cost him 1 or 2 stalkers, but he dodges the Widowmine as well. What am I saying? This is not triple Robo. I forgot that he proxied the Robo. I forgot how this game started. It's already been so wild. Ooh, nice retarget on the charge right there. Gets right on top of these tanks. Will find Oliveira a little bit out of position, and Neeb gets a good fight. Ooh, Widowmine just came off cooldown. Gets a big shot in the middle of the army. Oliveira does have a decent army supply, and with the Vikings as they are, he might be able to chase down this army. The Colossus trying to get enough shots. A reinforcing Colossus could turn this around, but it is very close. And in fact, it will be enough to turn it back around. This was all just before 2-2, and Neeb takes a pretty darn good fight. But considering how this game started out, I am loving how both players are playing. This is so cool.
And against Steadfast, this is single starports. Oh, big Widowmine once again. Ooh. It's single starport. Stalkers blink forward. The Viking doesn't really fall. We have a medevac problem. Again, there is like what? One? No, there are no medevacs on the map right now. And what do you do here, Oliveira? Do you build medevacs to keep your bio alive? Do you build Vikings to deal with your significant Colossus problem because you do not have enough bio to just win on the ground? It's a complicated production problem that Oliveira is trying to run into. And yes, he's building more Ghosts. Yes, he's building more Barracks. Yes, 3-3 is on the way. But this is a terrifying time that he doesn't really have the answer to right now.
Oh, and he's not mining gas from one of these refineries. I think that's a result of like just being heavily taxed here. We are going to see, ooh, that Widowmine spotting the Disruptor. Sees it coming forward. Bit of a greedy move from Neeb. He goes for the army instead of killing the burrowed mine. I wonder if he maybe didn't spot it. Oh, a couple of Vikings getting a little bit too spicy here. We'll lose one of them, but some good disengages from Neeb to make sure he doesn't chase too far into the tanks. Overall, both players are playing an excellent positional game, but Neeb has been in the driver's seat for a lot of this. And, oh, he gets one SCV. That's better than nothing. No, the rally. Oh, that's a big oopsie right there from Neeb, and he loses 2 Disruptors for free. Meanwhile, big tank shot coming on in. Behind all this, 3-3 is on the way for both players, and a Blink DT transition. Oliveira has been able to stay on his 4 bases, and he is... Oh, actually, hang on. This is a very scary setup here. Protoss will get some big EMPs to the face. Siege tanks, they need to retarget on the Colossi, but they are not managing to do so. And Neeb was able to jump on Oliveira here, and he will take the game suddenly and without mercy. And he says, hey, I'm 0-3, but you cannot underestimate me.
And we've been saying it steadfast. It has not been Neeb's early game. That's the problem. He's been looking so good in every PVT that we get. It's the mid game, it's the late game where he starts to fumble, and he didn't do it in that game too. He had the read, he controlled tempo. He didn't go for a double forge third base over probe against a 2-base all in. He had the read. It feels like his game sense, at least in this last game, is finally starting to approach where we want it to be. Or at least where you would hope it would be, as if you are a Neeb fan. And that means we get to move into Gressvon for our third game in the series. And you want to talk about a map that has been giving us just consistently the best games of the day. Well, it's got to be this one.
I mean, they've all been pretty great games. There's been a few, I think ZVT on Dragon's Blood leaves a little bit to be desired. That third base feels very exposed for the Terran. But most of the maps have put some really great matches out. And I am excited because these two players are playing at peak level right now. They are both playing so well, so fast, and so tactically. And to combine the speed and the great decision-making, God, it's so enjoyable to watch. And we're not even close to the grand finals, but this is some very high-level StarCraft.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited for when the B stream. Well, I'm not excited for the B stream to be done, but I'm so excited for that to be done so I can just sit back and watch the games as they get even better. I don't know how they can, honestly. But remember last year, Katowice, we had these incredible group stage games, and then somehow it increased. We're gonna hope that one happens again, but for now, folks, that means we do have to get our way through the groups, and Game 3 is ready. So let's see what happens. Does Neeb from beyond the grave pull time back down to earth a little bit? Game 3. And the bottom right, folks, in the blue. He fell down a little bit. Let's see if he can take this one. Oliveira.
And his opponent spotting up at the top left, showing a flash of his former self, the former just top tier player. It is Onside Gaming's Neeb. Just so much about that was such inspiring play. Like, people talk about, top tier Protosses, and they talk about Hero. But, well, okay, I don't even want to bring Hero into the conversation on this one. Not because he's not a top tier Protoss. He is, in my opinion, he's the best Protoss player in the world. And I think you could make a lot of people would say he's the best player in the world right now. We're not going to get into that, but he is so damn good. But he's not the kind of style that I'm talking about. I'm thinking about like Creator. I'm thinking about Classic. And these players that play a great control style, and they get on top of you, and they really just don't let you out, and they make such good decisions, such great army splits. Neeb felt like Creator at his best in that game number 2. he felt like he just really never let Oliveira do what he wanted to do. We're going to be doing that all weekend.
Yeah. Steadfast, though, you talk about, oh, well, he doesn't feel like Hero because he feels like someone who takes his resources, starts to control the map, and is in your face for the rest of the game. That sounds like Hero to me.
Yeah, I realized after I said it, I was like, huh. But Heroes feels like more of like, I'm going to like slap box you for, 17 minutes straight. And if you ever don't check my moves, I'm going to mid-swing turn the slap into a knockout punch. That's what it feels like. He is constantly hunting for good engagements, whereas Neeb's felt a little less like frantic and frenetic and fast. It felt a little more technical. It felt like a little bit like, okay, it's still fast, don't get me wrong. And I'm not saying that Hero's not technical. Obviously he is. But Neeb he felt like the Neeb of old, and it was so exciting to see. Oliveira, though, he does get one probe, does end up getting killed off by the, I think one of the probes might have gotten an extra zap there to give to give enough DPS. So good defense there to deny the scout. Did he get a scout? Yeah, he didn't get into the main base. So it doesn't know that it's a Stargate. I think that's actually worth losing a probe for. I think it's up to, individual players and individual styles, but I think having the Stargate unscouted, I would say that's, you trade a probe for that as most Protoss players a lot of the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to happen that this is Gress spawn, so you will open Stargate. But there's a big difference between knowing what's happening and having a guess what's happening and actually confirming what's happening. So, yeah, it's going to be an Oracle. It's going to be Phoenix behind that. And if you talk about Neeb taking the Creator style or Classic or something like that, well, Phoenix into Charge, Phoenix Colossus, whatever it is, that is their bread and butter. In fact, when we saw Classic come back from the military, that Phoenix Charge idea was the thing that he brought back into this meta. But I do see this, and actually, we've been talking about behind the scenes. We've been talking about this all week. The idea of Ravens in TVP, we're going to start to see them a whole lot more because you can get a Raven and you can get a tank at the same time, effectively for the cost of what the Raven once was. So it's not like you no longer have this decision of, oh, do I build a Raven and maybe have some harassment potential, make my push a little stronger, or to build the tank and make sure I don't die to things. Well, now Terrans can do both. The build orders are much cleaner here.
Yeah, they just time out better. They're in addition, the Raven finishes faster, which means that you're going to be able to get that tech lab back into whatever else you want for it a little bit faster. There's just a lot of advantages, and most of the disadvantages, there's still some disadvantages that apply in this matchup, like the duration of interference matrix is a big one, especially against Colossus-based armies. And that was kind of a compensatory nerf, one of them, and indirectly a compensatory buff for Protoss players. But in addition to like that nerfed interference matrix, they're also, the auto turret's a little more fragile, but the harassment for auto turrets, it's against, units that aren't there. If you find an exposed mineral line, it's just as good. So it rewards good defensive multitasking from the Protoss while punishing bad defensive multitasking for the Protoss. So or bad preparation, even, however you want to phrase that. It's such a great change, and there's so many things that are such well thought out changes. Behind this, though, like you said, it is going to be Phoenix charge lot. We're going to see these Phoenixes on the right side looking for a little bit of an opening. Look at this. Oliveira instantly pulled the SCVs back in response to this. Still does lose 2 of them. It's always difficult because you got one that's trapped on the gas inside of it, one that's building it, but nice quick reaction time.
Yeah, certainly. The interesting thing actually coming in out of this build from Neeb is he's really trying to make sure the charge is ready in time. We saw him cut Phoenix production at 4 for a solid 30 seconds, as again, you want to make sure your gateways go up, you want to make sure you charge, all these other things that, well, that cost the money that you could be spending on Phoenix. And honestly, yeah, for Phoenix, they're able to one-shot SCVs. It's enough to harass. It's not enough to, take a fight, but that's going to happen a little bit later. This is interesting, though, is okay, we're going to see Oliveira moves out. He's going to lose a Widowmine to start. Neeb had some, he's going to get a tank here? Maybe. No, he's going to have to back up. Neeb
he's buying time.
Sorry?
Oh, he's buying time.
Yes, absolutely. And Neeb has counterattack ideas on the brain. He's got a pylon on the north side. He's aware of exactly where Oliveira is. So maybe one more warp in at the front, and then the next round of Zealots, they're going to go on that pylon. They're going to sweep in to Oliveira's natural and force Oliveira into an all-in situation.
Yes, and we got to mention He didn't get the tank, but I actually think in a situation like this, when you're going as heavy into Phoenix Charge Lot as he is, getting the Widow Mine is actually a higher impact pickoff because of how heavy Neeb is on the charge lots. Now, we do see Oliveira, he backed off. Did he see the charge lots? He must have. He must have seen them, because this is not the kind of army that you really want to fight as Oliveira, especially losing that Widow Mine and really having nothing that deals with the mass charge lot. Now, as we move on to the next stage, and Neeb was not able to force a fight, Oliveira did not go for the fight. The next stage is, will Neeb be able to get splash damage out in time to deal with an army that has so many Marines that now Zealots are kind of invalidated? And that's why he's going for this relatively quick robotics bay. He does have the +1 weapons on the way for the Forge, which is nice. But this is going to be a scary little bit of time. We did see a little bit of harassment in the main. Oh my God. Oh, I missed it. He lost 3 Phoenixes for 3 SCVs and a mine.
That is not...
That is a lot.
Yeah, especially how important these Phoenix are. They buy time, right? They lift the tanks, they lift the Widow Mines, they fight Ravens and Medivacs. They make it so much easier. They're the most important component of your army, realistically, until you get Colossus or something out. Losing 3 of them when you've committed that hard to it is a problem. But Neeb, he's got a massive surround here. What is that? 8-10 Zealots on the right side, a big clump on the left, but the anti-armor missile is going to hit every Zealot on the left side. So they're going to charge in, doing what they can. Phoenix going to lift the tanks as much as possible, but Neeb swallows this hole. And Oliveira, he had an opportunity. He's got to run away. There's nothing he can do. The Liberators are going to try to siege up and maybe make something happen. There's no anti-air outside of these Phoenix, but there's nothing that really kills them. So Neeb, you gotta back up now, but what of a hell of an engagement. That didn't work out for Oliveira in the slightest.
That was so cool from both players for so many reasons. We see that immaculate 360 surround coming in from Neeb. He traps the army, and then Oliveira, well, fortunately for him, he landed an anti-armor missile. He got a clutch interference matrix, which he basically had a 4 upgrade swing. The anti-armor missile gets the -2, and he prevents the Guardian Shield with that super clutch interference matrix on those sentries. And that's the only reason that he was then able to turn the fight back around at the top of that ramp. If he doesn't do that, God, that was such a cool fight, such a dynamic fight from both sides. As it stands, Oliveira, he is down workers though, and he needs to find something. And now the Colossus are out. Ooh, big stim. I don't know if he wants to pick the fight. That's a lot of Zealots, and this Colossus is going to make it difficult. Another flank coming on in here. The Liberator is going to get some good work done. Will kill a sentry, but Neeb drives him back, and he has taken a big supply lead. Doesn't want to push up this ramp, I don't think. He might say, I have too much. Actually, he's going to fight right through the liberation zones, and he's just going to take the game right here and now. Neeb, what a shot.